Hello, I'm Kris Weigal of Share Home Inspection. Welcome to our next episode of Meet the Realtor. And today I have with me a longtime friend, Spero Speropoulos from Baird Warner. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So tell us a little background about yourself. You know, how did you get into real estate and how long have you been in the market?
Well, years ago I read a book about all sorts of silly different ways of buying a house or an investment and that. And I got in a discussion with a friend of mine whose hobby is to argue. And I said, I don't think you can do it this way. And he said, you probably can. So we went back and forth over it, and I picked up the newspaper, called on an ad, and the ad said little or no money down in Middle Lothian. Long story short, I bought the house with no down payment and didn't put any of my money into it. And I didn't know it exactly the way they said it in the book, but I did it. And I said, this could be fun. So it was a successful investment, and the longer I kept it, the more appealing the industry became. And then I was working in restaurants. I got tired of that, and I haven't looked back. It's been fun.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah.
So that's incredible. In fact, you must have seen an incredible amount of change in that time. What are some of the biggest changes you've seen in the real estate market in those years?
Well, John Baird was asked this question one time, and he said it's women. And there were quite a few women when I started, but there's been more, and the skirts get shorter. So it's really been nice. The biggest thing really, though, has been the technology. When I first started, if you wanted to buy a house in a given town, you went to the guy that was local in that town, and you know, somebody in Worth or somebody in Chicago Ridge, and that. Today, with the technology, we have all of the information that we need on every town. And as long as it's in the region, I have practical experience with it. I've spent time in Naperville, I've spent time in Wheaton, I've spent time in Joliet. I didn't spend a lot of time in Joliet.
Not too much.
But the different areas, we know these things. We don't have to refer as many people out as we used to. If we do get in a situation, though, we know that we don't know what we need to know, you know, and we can refer people with intelligence and integrity, and we know who's doing business there in those areas.
Yeah, and you refer them to people that are trusted partners, so that's always
Absolutely.
reassuring. Yeah. So tell us, how do you differentiate yourself from other realtors in the market? What do you do that's different?
Well, I have you and Russ to thank for that. The biggest thing I do is every property that I put on the market starts with a pre-listing inspection. We take a look at the home. We make sure we know exactly what we're selling. You know, the happiest moment in a real estate transaction is when everybody agrees on price. They go to dinner, they have a good time, it's a great time. But then the next part, the saddest part of the real estate transaction is the next morning when the buyer shows up with his inspector and he's going to go through the house and look at everything. Well, my sellers know what their buyer's inspector is going to look at because we've seen it already and we've made corrections on most of the things that have been wrong.
That's a smart move, you know, and I don't think a lot of listing agents see that side of it. So, you know, you have proven it because a lot of times sellers can miss the whole market if they have been losing a number of deals because of the home inspection.
Well, yeah, and since 2006, I've only lost one transaction that was on the sales side because of inspection issues. And the reason we did that is the guy just didn't want to do the work, and the buyers couldn't take the house the way it sat. And you know, and it was fair. I mean, and it was over quickly. It wasn't 6 months down the road. It was a couple of days, 5 days, and we were done with it.
Yeah, that's a smart move. That's great that you do that, Spero. So you work hard. You've been at it for 38 years. Tell us about your family, your hobbies. What do you like to do in your spare time?
Well, I've got a wife and 3 kids and 9 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren. That keeps me pretty busy, you know. And I play guitar and sing well enough to assure myself privacy. The minute I pick it up, everybody leaves, so I can be by myself all I want. I enjoy music. I enjoy that. I have run 15 marathons, and due to health reasons I can't run anymore, but I still go to the races. I was at the Chicago Marathon and had a lot of fun with the crowd down there. It's a good thing.
Yeah, that is great. Well, thank you, Spero. Again, you've been a long-term friend, and thank you for your support all these years. And, you know, thank the audience for joining us for this ever-evolving world of real estate. And just remember, if you're buying or selling your dream home, we're just a conversation away.